now I have to go in and defend Google. Google is being threatened to be broken up by the DOJ. Bunch of idiots. Absolute ridiculousness. So let's see if I can pull it up here. Let's see if I can pull it up on the screen. I have to go over here. So I talked about this earlier in the week, and I said I was going to slam the people behind this decision. It's terrible. Hopefully this doesn't come to fruition. Hopefully it's just, a bunch of yapping. I have to go into advanced search for this. But the people behind this decision apparently don't know, what they're talking about or anything about tech, which is fine, right? You weren't elected to, police in technology or something like that. You were elected to, enforce laws, not, create the next iPhone. So that's fine. That's what I am here to do, right? You weren't elected to have, Gemini or whatever. You weren't elected to. Come on. It should be loading here. Where is it? Come on, advanced search. Did I bookmark it? Hopefully it's in my bookmarks, because I'll never find this. It's so hard to find stuff over on X. October 7th, October 5th, October 3rd. Nope, I didn't bookmark it. Oh, here it is. Oof. Yeah, dang. So, according to Michelle Roshman, wait, hopefully you guys can see the screen. Where's my? There we go. Why did I chicken out? Because right now it's a tech podcast, but if you want to figure that out, you can go over to gotquestions, .org and figure that out for yourself. All right. Now here we are over on x.com, thetechboy.org. All right. So Michael Rashman says that Google confirmed that the United States DOJ is seeking, among other things, to force Google to split off Chrome and Android. And I said, what a stupid, that's stupid. Stupid government. Literally anyone can make an Android phone. Google's integration is why I use Chrome. I'm using Chrome right now. Do Copilot buttons have to come to Mac? The Samsung have to use open source DeX. I mean, this is stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, you can't even see it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Absolutely ridiculous that Google is having to be broken up by the DOJ is going to be seeking to be broken by the DOJ to force Google to split off Chrome and Android. Why? Who thought that was a good idea? I'm begging you, why? Okay, let me tell you how bad of an idea this is. Okay, Google does not own Android, right? They kind of own Android, but anyone can make an Android phone. I mean, literally anyone can make an Android phone. Not iOS. You don't see them going after iOS. Okay, we are not the EU here. We are the United States of America, not the European Union. Okay, it's the EU's job to go mess up iOS for no good reason. Android, anyone can make an Android phone. If I had enough money, I can go make an Android phone if I wanted to right now. TCL can make an Android phone with BlackBerry. Unihoods can make with a keyboard. Unihoods can make an Android phone with a keyboard. People can make Android phones that have walkie-talkie stuff. Android is, without a doubt, one of the most open operating systems on planet Earth. Okay, why aren't they going after Windows? You cannot modify Windows and put your own little skin on it. Tizen, One UI, whatever Xiaomi uses, or you can just use stock Pixel. Even make your own ROMs. And you may be saying, well, the government doesn't want people to have Google applications on their Google preloaded on their phones. Okay, first of all, and their own indictment of trying to split off Google from Chrome disproves themselves, but they're too stupid to see this. Their own indictment disproves it. But first, let's stick with Android, and then we'll move over to Chrome. They might say, oh, maybe they don't want people to have Google apps and want to have their own pre-installed applications. Guess what this proves us as well? The Microsoft Surface Duo. The Microsoft Surface Duo came pre-installed with, guess what? Microsoft 365 applications and Bing and all the Microsoft apps, because Microsoft was allowed to install those on their own phones, on their own custom software that was based off of Android. Do you know what also disproves this? The light phone, which has no search engine, no Google, nothing like that. Or heck, even the Gab phone or the Pinwheel phones, which are pieces of junk, pieces of trash, and I don't endorse them or anything like that, but they still don't have that technology in them. No Google, no search engines, no browsers, or anything like that. All right, now let's go over to Samsung. Even Samsung. When I was like eighth grade or something, like 4 or 5 years ago, Samsung used to have like a partnership with Microsoft where they have all their Microsoft applications pre-installed in the stores. And the S10 series was brand new. And guess what? In the Microsoft store that doesn't exist anymore, in the Woodlands Mall, they would have these Samsung Galaxy S10s on display. And guess what applications were pre-installed on there? Yes, they had some of the Google applications, of course, because it was running stock One UI. But Microsoft had it modified to run their own applications, Office instead of Docs. Excel instead of Sheets and stuff like that. I think it might even have Bing pre-installed on there. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you want to break up Google for the monopoly that they allegedly have in search? And yes, maybe they pay Apple to be the default search engine. Anyone can change the browser over on Apple. Anyone can change the browser over on Android. And here's the thing here. Google Chrome, right, this proves it for themselves. Chrome is only pre-installed on desktop devices because it's desktop Chrome. It's on Chromebooks, which are basically web portals. So they're not going after that. The number 1 and 2 operating system in the world will be Windows, Chrome OS, and Mac OS, I think. But I think Mac OS is, an actual operating system compared to Chrome OS. So Windows and Mac OS have about 90% of the desktop market, and yet Chrome is the number 1 browser in the United States. That isn't a monopoly. Okay, it's just that Chrome is better. Do you know what the number 1 pre-installed browser in the United States is? Edge. And do you know what the number 1 search in Edge is? Chrome. Which this proves that users can't change their own search engines or change their own browsers because they are obviously using Edge to do the one thing that they like to use it for, and that is to download Chrome. And trying to break up Google with Chrome, which will make Chrome worse, will make Google worse, and it's not going to make Edge any better because Edge won't have any competition to go with. Some of the biggest tech YouTubers in the world support non-Google browsers. Mr. Who's the Boss supports Opera. And he has almost 20 million subscribers. 20 million subscribers. Chrome is not a monopoly, or Google's not a monopoly because it's bad, or because they're forcing it on people. It's only pre-installed on 10% of computers, and yes, it's pre-installed on phones. But if you want to, if your company is smart enough and invest enough, like Samsung, you can have your own default browser, Samsung Internet. And if your users are just marginally smart enough to go use the Play Store and download TikTok, they can download Edge, they can download Firefox, they can download Opera, they can download Bing, they can download any of these browsers. This is absolutely ridiculous, trying to force Google to split off from Chrome. Do you know why I use Chrome? Because of the great integration it has with Google services. And yes, you can sign in on other browsers as well, but maybe you might not want to. Even Edge back in 2020 had this weird vulnerability where it made it easier to recover Google accounts from Edge than it was to recover Google accounts from Chrome. They fixed it, but it's not existing. It doesn't really exist anymore. But still, I like to use the browser that I like to use. I'm not being forced to use this browser. It's not even pre-installed on 90% of the computers used worldwide. Do you know what the number 1 browser on Macs is? Safari. And guess what? People go and download it themselves. They go out of their way to download Chrome. Not monopolistic practices, and this is ridiculous. It's like a DEI program, but for technology. You're trying to force, some of the little browsers at the bottom, to get used more. For what? For what? People are still going to use Google. People are still going to use Google. In trying to break up Android couldn't get more open if it wanted to. You can install APKs. You guys got USB-C. You want a phone with the headphone jack? Well, A16 doesn't have that anymore, but you want a phone with the headphone jack? You used to be able to get one of those things. Android is the most open operating system in the world. You have phones ranging from the Galaxy S24 Ultra with 4 cameras and 12 gigabytes of RAM to phones like the Light phone, which has an e-ink display and no apps. Would you think Apple would allow that to happen? Do you see the DOJ going after Apple? Do you see them trying to break up Apple? And if they try to break up Apple, I would yell at them too. Because trying to break them up is absolutely an asinine, stupid decision. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Why would you try to do that? Users are not stupid. They can download their own applications if they want to. The reason they use Google, the reason they use Google Lens, the reason they use Google Assistant is because they like it. Android is allowed to have its own programmable side keys. Back in 2018, 2019, and 2018, 17, 18, 19, Samsung had their own dedicated Bixby buttons. And I like them personally. I didn't own them, but I like them personally from afar. But people didn't, so they removed them. Yay, free trade, capitalism. These people, I don't know why they're trying. You cannot make Android any more open. Like, if you made it more open, it would be running Windows applications, which you can still kind of technically do on Android. It's ridiculous. You have better things to be fighting right now. Like, literally better. You're going to make it, A, harder for users and consumers and potentially even more unsafe. Especially if you try to put all these third-party app stores like preloaded on here. And stupid Epic, suing Google as well for stuff like this too, and Samsung. This is an insult to users. It's an insult to Google. And I won't stand for this. I will not stand for this. How much more open do you think Android can get? And Android's not even profitable, without Google. Do you want to go back to the days of, BlackBerry OS? It's your only phone choice with BlackBerry. You have to get a BlackBerry to get BlackBerry OS. I mean, we only have like 3 phone brands in the United States: Samsung, Google, and Apple. How is I don't get how is it supposed to help foster competition? It's absolutely ridiculous. Just because Google is successful doesn't mean that they're doing something wrong. It just means that they're better. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how Samsung. I mean, how the DOJ is trying to emulate the EU. And yes, the EU has had some successes, but it's because the people over there are also dumber. Yeah, they got USB-C onto iPhones, and now they're trying to sue to get, some of the Apple Intelligence and some of the Apple share screen features over there. But that's going to take away some of Apple's competitive advantage. I mean, if it's up to them, they might mandate that all phones have styluses in them. Apple should have the choice to put the software on only one phone. And Google should have the choice to have Android as open as they want it to be. Microsoft should have competed better if they wanted to be a player in the game. You might be saying, well, Google didn't play nice with them. So? And they came back in 2020 and 2021 with the Surface Duos. And guess what? Do you see anyone using a Surface Duo anymore now? No. So maybe Microsoft just wasn't good at making phones. And Nokia, you had the whole EU behind you. You're an EU country. Okay, if the EU wanted to, they could probably make Nokias the phones of the land. And guess what? Are you still making Symbian phones anymore? Are you still making Windows mobile phones anymore? No, you're making Android phones. And not even flagship Android phones. The last one you made had like 5 cameras and 3 of them were decent. Absolutely ridiculous. This threatening to break them up. And do I think we'll pass? Probably not. Probably not. Because no one unpass it. Or maybe it'll get feed. I don't get why this is happening. All right, now we have to get to our next topic.